Okay, this video was made to BOAMAN. I forget the digits on his name. He made some really ugly comments about my snake. This one here, this green anaconda, had a red belly. She was in shed at the time I did the video. And yes, she'll eat when she's in the shed, because she said 2 days right after she ate. And that her belly was red. You know, it had belly rot. And she was going to die real soon if I didn't take care of it. Well, I don't see a red belly. Does anybody else? I mean, maybe I'm colorblind. But it looks to me like her belly is quite normal. I mean, it tends to get reddish when she sheds. That's just something that happens to her. That belly's perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with it. This snake is healthy. She's not power fed, not starved. She has a very calm nature. This is not always the case with green anacondas. Some are extremely nasty. You're young, BOAMAN, and I've tried to be nice with you about this. I've tried to ask you to leave my page. Stay off of it. You give extremely bad advice. The advice you give, for one, a lot of it, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never even owned these animals. You give advice on animals you don't own. You've never owned. You probably never even put your hands on or seen up close. And the real downside of that is to see some other young kid, foolisher than you are, is liable to take your advice and get himself severely hurt, if not killed, because some of these animals can end your life. You talk about Salvadores are great pets. Let me tell you something about a crocodile monitor, Salvadores. They are not great pets. My Jimmy is an exceptional animal. Jimmy has a close bond. It's taken 2 years of daily interaction and really paying attention to that animal to get where he's at. And he's still a risk. There's still no guarantee that that animal won't get upset, get mad, get startled, and at any time take a nice big chunk out of me. And they can do some serious damage with their claws. That little scar right there, sorry, Greg, I didn't mean to let you fall. You probably can't see it. That's a nice little scar from just him pulling up. You talk about reticulated pythons, make great pets. Excuse me. Kid, let me tell you something. I've kept reticulated pythons for over 25 years. They don't make great pets. They are good snakes. If you know what you're doing, you respect them, you give them the proper amount of respect and understanding, they can be wonderful animals to live with. They're not for inexperienced people to handle. This snake is not for an inexperienced person to handle. Reticulated pythons, rock pythons, Burmeses. You said Burmeses are harmless. Let me tell you something, kid. I've had some nice 18-foot berms. I've had them all the way up from 10 foot on up. I've been tagged by good-sized berms, good-sized retics. You have not. You don't know what it's like to have one around you. Okay? So how would you know? You're passing out advice based on just what you think. What you read in some book somewhere. And it's really backwards wrong. You're going to get somebody hurt. You want to get yourself hurt, that's your problem. That's your business. Like me. I take a lot of risks with my animals. I do a lot of things that I get condemned for and things I wouldn't recommend anybody do. But you know what? I risk myself. And I tell everybody clearly, this is dangerous. This can go wrong. You can get hurt. You know, I don't try and let my snake get around my neck as much as you do. Because you know what? She doesn't look that big. But let me tell you something. This snake was to wrap around my neck and decide that she's in one of her moods that she is not going to let go in a matter of minutes. I'm going to be on the ground and I'm going to be dying. Even at my size. And you're going around telling kids these are great animals, great pets. No large constrictor makes a great pet unless you have had them, understand them, know them, and understand the risk. You obviously do not understand the risk you're taking. You don't understand the risk because you're just flat out telling people to do it. You talk about other monitor species. Oh, you want to have a water monitor. You want to have this. Let me tell you something. Water monitors, they're smart. They're beautiful animals. CJ's a great animal. He's a little aggressive when it comes to feed. And that's expected on some animals. But you know what? I wouldn't recommend one to nobody without years of experience because you know what? They get quite large. Maybe not fast, but they get big enough to do some serious damage, even take your life if you're not lucky. You talk about venomoids. Venomoids. Let me tell you something, kid. Venomoids, that's fine and dandy. I've had cobras. I've had mambas. I've had rattlers. I've had these animals. I understand them. You know, problem with venomoids is, unless you take them to a really professional person, like a good vet that knows what they're doing, if they don't get the whole sac removed, it will regenerate. And you get yourself a nice little envenomation bite. Kids your age ain't got no business with an venomoid. or a venomous snake. Really, I've seen nothing that leads me to believe that you have any business with any of the snakes you have. You flip out over a corn snake barely moving. You handle the snakes with lack of respect, lack of give a shit on their part, and yet you want one of these. You want a crocodile monitor. You want an alligator. Oh, you talk about alligators make great pets. Let me tell you something, my alligator is very tolerant. From 2 years of working with him. He's very tolerant. That's not to say 5 years from now when he's 7, 8 feet long, he will be so tolerant. That's not to say that at any given time, he won't one day rip my leg off, my hand, grab me in my face. It can happen. I choose to live my life knowing the fear, knowing the regrets, knowing the damage they can do, knowing the risk, but accepting the fact that this is what I love. It's my passion. And if it takes me out of this world, hey, I lived it. That's all that matters. But I don't go around telling people stupidly to go do this shit. Like you do. You come on my page and you make a comment about Big John, my 12-foot retic that died. I raised that snake from the time he was a little baby. A thermostat in the middle of the night failed. It can happen to anybody. It has happened before. It'll happen again. And when it failed, the heater froze up in heat. And basically it just fried him. And that's something I gotta live with. And it's a very painful experience, and have a little punk fuck like you sit there and throw that in my face that I had killed my snake, or my blue tail who had a prolapse that I had a vet scheduled for the next friggin' day. Well, you know, welcome to the real world, kid. I don't have my mom and daddy paying my bills. I had to go to work that day. I made him as comfortable as I possibly could until I got home. He died. Prolapses, sometimes it just happens. But to have you sit there and throw it at me that I killed enough reptiles, I killed my animals, let me tell you something, you little son of a bitch. I've been keeping reptiles since I was 5 years old. I got my first gator at 12. My parents made me take responsibility for that animal and raise it. I've had rattlesnakes since I was I'd say about 14, 15. I grew up in South Texas with them. They were everywhere. It was not uncommon to walk through the house and bump into one, trying to get away from the cold. So, you know, big difference there, buddy. And in all this time I've had reptiles, I got out of it for a while. I've been back into it for about 3 years now. And in all this time, I can count how many reptiles I've lost. One fucking hand, boy. One fucking hand. I've been doing this longer than you've been living. So I don't think you've got any business passing judgment on me, telling me what I should do, how I shouldn't do. Like you said with this snake, oh, scaly rot, Betty rot, she's gonna die, just like the other reptiles. Her buddy's fine. And she and guarantee you, she fed while in shed. In fact, tell you what, hold on one second. Now, you're probably too stupid and young to know the difference between a fresh shed and a non-fresh shed. That's her shed. That's the one she did 2 days ago after she fed. 2 days after feeding. That's her shed, right there. Okay, smartass? They will eat and feed. Not all. Some will. Mine happens to eat when it's feeding shed. I've got retics like that. I've got a Burmese like that. She don't do it every time, but sometimes she does. And that's her shed, and if you want to look closely at it, it's fresh. It ain't been hanging on the wall for months. I don't keep sheds that long. Especially when they're not, as you can see, perfect sheds. So, do me a favor. Just stay off my page. Stop commenting. The only reason I haven't blocked you is because I don't have a computer right now. Mine crashed. I'm on my smartphone and I can't seem to get it to block your dumb ass. Because I don't need your dangerous, ill advice on there giving people bad ideas when you don't know a damn thing about it. So, you know, hey, stay the hell off my page, kid. You don't like getting talked shit to. Don't come on other people's pages talking shit to them. Don't think because you're a kid you can get the right to go and get on people's pages and put them down and talk shit to them. You don't know nothing about what you're talking about. You got no business with the animals you have, and you got no business getting on people's pages and talking to them as if you know more than they do. Most of your information is totally wrong. And frankly, I'm sick of it. And I don't care if you do it on your page. That's your damn page. It's your damn business. But don't do it on mine, okay? And don't ever use my snake's name in your fucking mouth again, you little fat fuckhead. because that I'm not going to put up with. You are not good enough to clean up Big John's shit. A little less fucking talk about it, you little asshole. That's all I got to say to you, bud. You wanted a video. You dared me to make a video and show her belly. There it is, you little son of a bitch. Not red, perfectly yellow, like I said. Oh, you said you'd give me $1,000 if I could prove it. I think I just did. Why don't you take that $1,000, buy yourself a better personality. By the way, go fuck yourself, BOAMAN.